Disability is not inability. Being disabled should not mean being disqualified from having every aspect of life. It is very true that there is no disability greater than the inability to see a person as more. Now I invite our Dean, Professor Neena Sinha. Professor Neena Sinha began her academic journey at the Research Institute for Economics and Business Administration, Kobe University, Japan, as a visiting research scholar in 1989. Motivated by the culture of academic excellence overseas, she started her teaching career at BITS and moved on to the University School of Management Studies as a founding faculty at the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi in 1999 and rose to the post of professor in 2009. Currently, she is serving as a professor and dean at USMS, GGSIP Delhi, and co-chairperson NAAC activity. The current research interests include corporate social responsibility and sustainable marketing, development informatics, and total quality management. Her work has been published in various journals, including the Journal of Information Management, Technological Forecasting, and Social Change, Management Decision, International Journal of Bank Marketing, Benchmarking, and TQM. During her 21-year-long tenure at the university, she has played a vital role in many administrative functions of the university. These include Director Development, Controller of Finance, Coordinator IPU, Intellectual Property Rights Cell, Coordinator in the Prasta Internal Quality Assurance Cell, and Chief Coordinator Industry Institute Partnership Cell. Along similar lines, her significant executive roles at the university include coordination of universities accreditation by NAAC Bangalore in 2007 and universities reaccreditation in 2013. Her scholarly standing among peers is also reflected in the kind of service she is regularly called upon to make to the larger academic community as expert member of many UGC committees and statutory body members of various universities. She has been an academic visitor to the University of Manchester, UK, Osaka University, Japan, St. Petersburg State University, Russia, and University of Glasgow, UK. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Bhavya. Distinguished guest, Padma Shri Professor Mahesh Verma, Vice Chancellor, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Shri Vinay Sas Udrit, MP Rajya Sabha and the President ICCR, Ms. Achal Khanna, CEO SHRM India and Business Head MENA and APAC, Professor A.K. Saini, Director Development, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Shri Ravi Dadiji, Registrar of the University, Deans, Directors and other participants. First of all, Bhavya, you have given such an extensive introduction that I think I will have to cut on my presentation. On behalf of USMS, I welcome you to this inaugural session of the webinar, Inclusive Growth of People with Disability in Social and Professional Arena during COVID-19 pandemic. Now, some in this seminal virtual gathering argue that a global pandemic is not the time to discuss workplace diversity and social inclusion as an imperative for the. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now.
Okay. So, yeah. So, some may argue that this is not the right time and that there are more pressing issues facing our world. But we thought that this moment is precisely the right time to recognize the importance of inclusiveness for people with special ability to their social and the professional arena. Contemporary development policy literature is replete with reference to the terms like inclusion and its adjective inclusive. We often talk of inclusive societies, inclusive cities, financial inclusion, but when you scratch beyond the surface, beyond the word, beyond the phrase, inclusion is not that inclusive. The Constitution of India guarantees equality, freedom, justice, and dignity of all individuals and implicitly mandates an inclusive society for all, including persons with special abilities. It has been realized that a majority of people with disabilities can lead a better quality of life if they have equal opportunities and effective access to rehabilitation measures. India has ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in 2007. Subsequently, in 2016, we enacted the Right of Persons with Disability Act. We pin our hope on this new law that it would not only enhance the rights and entitlements of our Divyangjan, but also provide effective mechanism for ensuring their empowerment and true inclusion into the society in a satisfactory manner. In a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court of India allowed the admission of a girl suffering from thalassemia to a medical course in Chhattisgarh after a board opined that she was eligible to get reservation under the Rights of Pensions with Disabilities Act 2016. Incidentally, Medical Council of India had ruled that thalassemia is not a disability. So, of course, there is a need for greater cohesiveness among these different agencies. Participation and empowerment of Divyangjan is important. Too often we find that people who make laws, develop policies, build cities and create services have absolutely no idea about such people and their needs. So the mantra of nothing about us without us needs to be highlighted with this community of people with disability. To create inclusive, accessible space is the least that can be done by society, and that includes an empowering workplace. I would like to mention that we in GGS Indraprastha University have created a disabled-friendly architecture right since the beginning. But coming back to COVID-19, I saw two pieces of news recently reflecting both apathy and empathy, which I would like to share. The Union Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry has reported that the government's Arogya Setu app to track COVID-19 case was not accessible to Divyang people, particularly those with hearing and visual impairment. So the people interested with requirement analysis probably never thought of including their concerns into design and development. The second news is concerning State Bank of India. It was seen that in the initial phase of lockdown, Bank of India was treating the absence of PwD, or rather people with disability, as sick leave. Since employees with disabilities are exempted from duty during lockdown period, the Union Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry wrote to the Department of Financial Services, asking it to issue an advisory to banks and financial inclusion institutions to treat such absence as special leave without loss of pay. And then it was treated as a special leave. World Health Organization has also published disability considerations during the COVID-19 outbreak, which highlights the greater significance of the impact of novel COVID virus on the disabled population, which can be mitigated through appropriate action and protective measures by key stakeholders. Many countries resorted to lockdown, but the policy decision of a lockdown is not sensitive to the population of Divyang and elderly. Around 4% Divyang live alone and is dependent on others, that is the caregivers. Frequent visits to hospitals and rehabilitation centers are often a requirement. The caregivers, although immensely vital, may be hesitant to provide their services in the current scenario due to the increased risk of infection. Even practicing a seemingly basic habit of hand washing might be contingent upon the ability to access and use a facility to do so. To mitigate the effect of the lockdown, various state governments have focused on giving financial assistance. For instance, Bihar state government is providing 3-month advance pension through direct benefit transfer. Delhi government has already doubled the pension amount for widows, differently abled, and the elderly to rupees 5,000 per month. This novel coronavirus is described as novel for a reason. It is new to scientists and even to our body. And innovation is required not only to defeat COVID-19, but to heal our wounded workplace. Interestingly, there are so many innovative ideas lying for corporate entity to adopt and create products for Divyang population. Divyanan is one such invention which was mentioned by our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, in the Science Congress 2019. Divyanan is a reading machine for visually impaired or illiterate person, where any printed or digital document can be accessed in the form of speech output. Organization of persons with disabilities and disability rights advocacy groups should be involved to harness their expertise and to play important roles in promoting such technologies. They have a vital role to play in raising awareness and disseminating information about Divyangjan, in addition to advocating for disability-inclusive response to the COVID-19 emergency. During these 2 days, we shall get to hear from many such experts. Given the fact that we in universities have relevance in the making of economic and social policies, increasing employment opportunities for Divyang and becoming a voice against social exclusion, we can play a critical role in improving the quality of life of these people. However, there is still much to achieve. This is reflected by the fact that despite the commitment to ensure the access of students with disabilities, the dropout rate in this group is still high.